from Rome, Italy. Ciao, 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 ciao. I hope you're all doing well, boys. Today is, I believe, Wednesday, the 4th of March, and I have a nice live stream today because I had a really good time last night and I went on a date. And so I figured, let me just, talk about the evening, talk about the approach itself, and yeah, just give you boys a nice little insight into what it can be like when you've got a skill set as powerful as daytime cold approach. So let's get right into it. So it's worth noting that I arrived in Rome yesterday. So I got a flight from London to Rome, about 2 hours, got to Leonardo da Vinci Airport, I think that's what it's called. And then, had my luggage, took a train to a central part of Rome. And once I got into the city, I thought, you know what? Let me try and find a place to eat some pizza because, as I've said before, as I've confessed, I'm a big pizza guy. So I figured, all right, let me go look around, drop my luggage off to one of those luggage storage compartments before I checked into my Airbnb. And so that's what I did. I literally dropped off my luggage and then I kept on walking down one of the main streets and I do one approach, right? So I do my first approach and it goes okay. I stop her, give her the compliment, and then she just says she's not interested. She keeps on walking. And then I literally find a pizza place and then I eat that pizza. Beautiful, tasty rustica pizza. Oh, so good. Honestly, I might have to stay in Rome for an extra week because it was so good. And then I have my pizza and I drink my coffee. And then I'm like, okay, let me keep on going down the street because I also wanted to scout the area because obviously the main reason I'm here is because I'm coaching my guy Giacomo for his immersion. So, which is starting today, by the way. And so I figured, you know what, let me go out to the city, see which places seem busy, where's the most footfall, which places are more accessible, easier to walk in, big public squares, etc. And so as I'm walking down the street, I literally finish my pizza, I get onto the street, and as I come out of the pizzeria, I see a girl, and I go, okay, she looks really good. She's in like gym leggings. She's clearly just had a workout, and she's walking pretty fast. But thankfully, I don't have my luggage, so I can actually get a move on. So I just quickly turn around, get up to her, and the stop was okay. I didn't get right in front of her, but she was kind of like angled, let's say, slightly angled away from me. But then as we started talking, she started to face me, and we talked for maybe like a minute or two. She told me she was from like Kentucky, and I thought, okay, this girl doesn't seem too interested. Although when I mentioned to her that I was there to flirt with her, because she told me that she was in a hurry going to see a friend. So I said, okay, I don't want to hold you up for too long then, but I am trying to see how long I have to flirt with you. And she laughed, she smiled, she giggled, and then she stayed there. So that was a good sign. And then we talked for a little bit longer. She asked me how long I'm here for. I told her, yeah, I'm here for five nights, but I might extend it. Who knows? And she said, okay, well, I'm going to Greece later on this week, but maybe we can find a time to link up, right? So at this point, I'd already suggested that I wanted to take her out at some point. I didn't set a specific day, but I just said I want to take you out. And then she said, cool. But then she also said at the end, she said, well, enjoy your time in Rome. And so I should mention that this girl isn't the girl that I'm talking about in this live stream. Aha. So you boys might have thought, oh, Ian, were you talking about the girl that you just went on a date with? No. So this first American girl is somebody else, right? And so I got her number. I got this girl's number. We'll call her Sophie. So I got her number. Sophie gives me her number. And then as she gives it to me, and then as I say bye, she says, enjoy your time in Rome. And so to me, that says, okay, so she gave me the number. And to be fair, she also gave me somewhat of an agreement that she would be down to go on a date. Not officially, but at the very least, she sounded interested. And she said, yeah, let's try to do something maybe this week. But when she said enjoy your time in Rome and she just sort of walked off, in my head, given my experience, I figured this girl is like more maybe 40% likely to come on the date. Yeah, definitely less than half. Just based on how she spoke a bit, there were moments where she seemed interested, and she was flattered by the compliment, but there was something there that I could just tell that she wasn't as engaged as other girls who I have approached, who I've eventually been on dates with. And so this is why practice is great. This is why experience is so important, because you can gauge the girls who are really interested versus the ones who are semi-interested, and then you've got the ones who are just completely cold. And because I could tell that she wasn't that interested, I thought, you know what, let me not just run away in celebration, take my top off and start spinning it around like I just scored a last minute winner. No, let me relax and let me just keep on going in, because I want to get girls who are way more invested, right? Girls who are making it quite clear that they're interested and make it very easy for me to set something up, and are also giving me the signals at some level, right? And so I thought, okay, let me just ride on this high, because at the very least I got her to stop. We had a nice conversation, so that was fun. So let me just use this momentum to keep on approaching, and that's what I did. And so literally maybe 3 minutes later, I've got my camera out, my vlog camera, because I'm filming some nice architecture in Rome. I think it's one of the government parliamentary buildings. Beautiful, beautiful architecture. I'm just trying to sort of get a nice little B-roll clip of that building. And as I'm getting that clip, I see a girl walk past the tram stop, and she's beautiful, got glasses on, nice long curly hair, and she's kind of in her own world, but she just looks so beautiful. And I'm like, that's exactly my type. I'm gonna put this camera away for a second and approach her. And so she's walking, she goes around the corner, and then she's going past a busy tram stop, another tram stop, and she's walking, and I think, okay, this is gonna have to be a bold approach, because there are a lot of people stood quietly at this tram, and she's gonna walk right in the middle of them. And so I need to like get in front at some level, stop her and give her the compliment. And so that's what I did. I get in front, and the stop was really good because I think she had earphones in, and there were a few people around me as well coming in the opposite direction. So I had to like get in front slightly, say hey, say hey, and then kind of like maneuver myself and weave myself through these people. And so as I was doing that, I was like, hey, yeah, just 2 seconds, although I'm literally about to fall on the road here because of all these people. So, and I'm like kind of like talking and smiling, and she's like kind of laughing and going, okay, it's fine. And then as I finally get to a stop and we're stood right in front of each other, I go, you are so beautiful. And she's just like, she melts, right? And yeah, we just talked for like maybe 4 minutes. She was getting a bus back to her place, and she sort of teaches online as well. So she had some commitments later that day. So we just start talking, flirting. I tell her where I'm from. I tell her, yeah, I'm just here from London, seeing a friend. She's like, oh yeah, I'm from the north of America, and I'm here studying but also working. And yeah, we're having a nice back and forth. I'm teasing her a little bit. Um, and then, yeah. And then, I mean, ultimately, I could tell that she was interested. She was like fiddling with her hair. She was like crossing her legs. She was very engaged, right? Even though she was waiting for her bus, it wasn't like she was like, well, I have to go. And so we're just talking, having a nice back and forth. Nothing special, but I could definitely sense that energy. And then at some point, I just told her, well, I know your bus is coming, so we're gonna have to cut this flirting session early. Sorry, we're gonna have to cut it early. But I really want to take you out tonight. And I told her tonight, right? And she said, yeah, cool. And I kind of played the whole like tour guide card, which is something I like to do, where if I can tell the girl's interested in me, like romantically, and there's some sort of, let's say, chemistry, I like to use the sort of excuse of, yeah, you can be my tour guide, like you can show me around, and I get to do it free of charge. And, girls typically like that, right? So I thought, that's what I told her. And she said, cool. And so I told her, look, I need to keep on pushing forward as well before I check into my Airbnb, but I'll text you details on when we should meet, and maybe you can suggest the bar. And she goes, yeah, cool. And so she puts her name in my phone. And it was funny because I'm not going to say her name. Let's call her Penelope. So I put Penelope's, like, I give her my phone, and I'm like, okay, here you go. And she puts Penelope, and then she puts like an exclamation mark. And I'm like, wait a minute, why are you putting an exclamation mark in your name? And she's like, oh, because I'm special and I want to be the one girl in your phone book who's got the exclamation mark. And I'm like, that's weird, but okay. Right. And so like, I'm just kind of like giving her a bit of pushback, just, just kind of teasing her a little bit at that point. And then, yeah, we sort of had like a little running joke about that as well, later on. But yeah, she does that. She puts the number in my phone. She's even making sure that she's put the country code, which again is a good sign that she really wants this number to go through so that we can actually plan something. And so yeah, I say, okay, cool. I'll shoot you a message later, and then let's see what happens. And she goes, cool. And yeah, and I mean, at that point, I thought, okay, this girl is definitely more likely to go on a date. Again, no guarantees because people change their minds all the time. And so I try not to get too emotionally attached to the approaches or the ones that go well or the numbers, because at any point she could just say, yeah, I'm actually really feeling it. Sorry about that, but enjoy your time in Rome, right? And so I didn't get too excited, and that's why I kept on approaching as I went on through the city. But yeah, that was that. And then literally a couple of hours later, she texts me and she's like, hey, do you still need a tour guide from Rome? Because I found a nice bar that we can go to. And I'm like, yes. So yeah, so she suggests the bar. We go to it. I get there before her. It's very empty. And I get there and there's like a nice sofa area where you get like 4 sort of cushioned sofas. But there were drinks on the table and I could see there was like a couple playing on the foosball table next to this seated area. And I just asked the guy, I was like, hey, are you still sitting here? Because I have a date and I would like to like sit here. And the guy was like, oh yeah, cool, no worries, bro. And so again, like, I'm going in there, I'm taking my initiative, I'm trying to get the best spot in the bar. I'm not afraid to engage people. I say hi to the bartenders who were previously standing outside. And yeah, I'm just sat there waiting for her. And yeah, she comes in, and it was interesting because she comes in and then she talks to the bartenders for a little bit, just briefly, just to say hi. And I can tell that she's a regular, so she must have seen these bartenders before. And they're just having a brief, like, 10-second catch up. And then she comes to me, we hug it out. And yeah, we just have a nice time. I mean, it's funny because it was just one of those dates where her energy was so infectious, right? So she was definitely one of the more bubbly types that I've been on a date with, a lot more extroverted, but still has an introverted, quiet side. But once she's talking about something she's really interested and passionate about, then that sort of joyful, playful energy comes out. And there was just so much fun that we had. I mean, at one point we were like just doing like different accents, and she was like doing the Cali girl accent and I was doing my own like Jamaican accent, and then we were like on ChatGPT asking ChatGPT if it's possible to kill sharks with coins. I mean, the conversation was just kind of off the rails, but it was one of the funnest dates I've been on for sure. Um, and yeah, then we also had some nice deep conversation about spirituality, religion, because she had a similar sort of Christian upbringing. And so, the day can go anywhere. It doesn't have to be this really logical sequence of talk about this, then talk about that, or escalate to this. It's like, no, just kind of go with the flow, go with the wind, just be yourself, be as authentic as possible. And that's ultimately the best way to form a proper romantic connection. And that's exactly what I did. And so that was really fun. And in terms of escalating, I mean, I chose that area specifically because it would allow us to sit together. And so actually when she came in, she didn't sit where I wanted her to sit. So she kind of sat on the, let's say, adjacent sofa. So we were close, but we weren't like sat side by side, which is fine again, right? So she sits there, I sit where I'm sat, and I'm still like talking to her. I'm putting my arm or putting my hand on her thigh every time well, sometimes when I make a point. And I'm not like thinking about it strategically, but it just kind of comes out when I feel like it's natural, right? So I'm like telling her about an intimate story or my experience, and I'm like, you won't believe like this happened, right? And like I'm putting my hand on her thigh and I'm seeing how she reacts, right? And like as I'm doing this more and more, I'm realizing, yeah, she's like really, really fine with me. Because at one moment I'm just like briefly putting my hand there, but then an hour into the date, like I'm really rubbing her thigh and like, and we're getting much closer now. So we get this round of drinks, she comes closer, and we're like even like looking at each other like here, like kneeling, or like, what's the word? we're like kneeling or leaning, sorry, we're leaning in closer together. And I'm like rubbing her thigh, going up, and she's just like smiling and talking. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, she's really comfortable with me right now. She feels safe. She feels intimate. And so it was funny because at one point, I went to get the second round of drinks. And this is why I love Cold Approach and the confidence it gives you, because maybe a lot of guys struggle with this kind of stuff where they struggle to lead the date, and there's so much in their head, and they're unable to just really be free. And so when I go to the bar, I'm talking to the bartenders now, we're catching up, and then the girl comes, Penelope comes, my date, and she's like engaging in this like four-way conversation, and we're laughing about stuff, and then kind of flirting with her a little bit, and I can hear Penelope like trying to chime in a little bit as well because she can hear what I'm saying. And so yeah, me and that bartender are having a nice little chat, and this is just me showing the fact that look, I'm a cool guy, I'm a chill guy, I can have fun with everybody. It's not that deep, um, and so yeah, that's like a nice little tip as well, right? Like try and engage with the other people around you at the bar if you can, especially the bartenders, because those are easy wins. The bartenders are paid to be nice and friendly, so they're gonna make you look cool as well. And I don't want to say that you should do this to look cool, but it's just a way to show that you're a confident guy, right? You're comfortable in your own skin, and you can get along with people. And so that's what I did, and then I get the drinks back, and then yeah, we just keep on talking. She's talking about all the travels that she's done. I tell her about my travels, and yeah, at one point, so it's funny. So at one point, I could tell that I just needed to go to the toilet, right? Like I needed to take a piss, and but in that moment I was like, okay, but at this point we're talking slow, and I'm really staring deeper in her eyes, and I'm like, all right, I really want to make a move here. So I just stop her mid-sentence, like literally she's talking, and I go, just 1 second, I need to go take a pee, but before I do, I really want to kiss you. I just tell her that, and then I say that, she smiles, and then she just launches herself at me. And I'm like, whoa, okay, let's cool, perfect. Yeah, so we just start making out in the bar, and then yeah, making out in the bar, and then I kind of like pull her away, and I'm like, that was nice, but I do need to take my leak. And so she goes, okay, cool, you can go, and then I'll go after you. And then I go take my leak, come back, she comes back, then we start making out again, and then I tell her, look, let's just go, let's just leave. Um, and so this was I guess looking back, because we leave, right? We say bye to the bartenders, etc. And I don't know why I didn't suggest she comes back to mine. I never suggested it. Maybe I was just too, but I was very much in the moment because we go outside, and then and by the way, Rome is a beautiful city. So we're outside in the streets of Rome. It's like maybe midnight, and there's, a few people here and there, and the sky's nice and bright with the stars, and, there's this like really cool, let's say medieval, ancient looking like barrier, or what would you call it? Like a wall, like a cobbled wall, and we see this seagull on the wall, and so it's like a random white seagull, very very obvious, and just sort of stood out. And so she notices it, and I'm like, ooh, there's a seagull. And then we start doing like this funny David Attenborough nature narration. I get my David Attenborough voice out, and yeah, we're just like walking down hand in hand the street. I mean, it's kind of like one of those movies. It felt really nice. Yeah, that was a really fun day. I keep saying that, but that was a really fun, wholesome day. And so like we're walking down the street, I'm slapping her ass, where then like I'm like putting her, like, we're walking, and then like we sort of go to one side of the street on the wall, I put on the wall, we start making out again. Like it was getting pretty intense at points, and I was like, okay, let me just relax, because we are outside, and I don't want to keep it outside here too much. But I think I made a mistake where I probably should have just been like, yeah, let's go back to mine and chill for a bit. And to be fair, she could have said no, but she didn't. But I never gave myself the chance, right? But again, I think to my credit, I was just so lost in the moment because it just felt so natural. So we're just walking down the street, making out, and then I'm slapping her ass, and like I'm grabbing her, and we're making fun of each other again, and we're teasing each other. And yeah, and then eventually we get to her place, and she's like, yeah, well, that was really fun, and I would really want to see you, but yeah, I need to go in because my flatmate's in as well. And so that was basically her way of saying, yeah, we can just like end it here. I can't come in or whatever. And I'm like, cool, whatever, no worries. Um, and then yeah, we just make out a bit more, and then yeah, I say bye, and that's that, right? And so I get my Uber back home. You know, I don't know. Did I say this? No, I said this on my video. So I just before I put the live stream on, I just made a vlog, a slight vlog, a brief update on the date. And it's funny because when I got back from the date, I got back here, I was a little bit tipsy, and I ordered food, but I hadn't slept in 24 hours, so I ordered the food, it's on its way, and then I just passed out. And so I woke up this morning with like my contact lenses in my eye, and yeah, my food wasn't delivered, but it is what it is. But yeah, I had a really good night, really fun night, and yeah, I think just the takeaway from the whole experience is, you're only ever one approach away from everything changing, right? Because I had the first two approaches. First one, you could call it a blowout. Second one, she wasn't that interested, and then third one is just I kept on going in, and that's it. And it didn't take me that many approaches. And who knows? Like today, I might go out and I might meet nobody, or it might take me 15 approaches to find somebody who's as interested, right? But she just came out of nowhere, and I shot my shot, and I reaped the reward, right? And so you only really get the results if you keep going in, give yourself a chance, go in with confidence, believing that you're that guy, and everything else will pan out as it should. But you don't get to you don't get to decide when the universe gets to give you what you want, right? The universe will give it to you in due time. All you get to do is, can I go in more? Can I be bolder? Can I improve my technique? And eventually everything will fall into place. But yeah, this is great because I get to come to a city, first day I'm here, haven't even had a sleep yet. Not jet lagged, but definitely sleep deprived, and just had a pizza, and now I'm a few hours later, I'm on a date with this beautiful American girl, and so smart, funny, everything, right? Like if I was staying in Rome, right? If I was staying in Rome and she was staying in Rome too, then I would potentially see this girl, So like that's how much fun I had. But yeah, like just think about how cool that is, right? Like I remember times when I would go to places and I'd be on the dating apps and nothing would happen. And this girl's not on a dating app. She's not on a dating app, right? She's just a normal girl. So I would have never had the chance to meet her and have this experience, right? And so this is the power of the skill set. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I will keep on approaching. Obviously, like I said, the focus is on coaching, but intermittently I'll approach myself because I want to go on more dates, and get more content for you boys. But yeah, nah. So far so good. What a good start to the trip, huh? But yeah, now the attention focuses or shifts onto Giacomo. But yeah, I guess I'll give you another date breakdown if they happen. If not, it is what it is. But yeah, so far so good. Ciao, boys. See you in the next one.